So we had this film. It was completed. I was happy with it. There's still things I probably would have changed if I'd done it again, but that said, you know, it took 3 years to make it. I evolved as a filmmaker as it went, as the project continued, and I learned a lot. And I think you can see there's better moments and there's moments that aren't so good, but it's always entertaining and it's always got a charm to it, which I think is really good. However, once it was completed, I had huge concerns because as a film, it makes me look like an idiot. As a filmmaker, it makes me look incompetent. It looks like, why the hell has this person made these choices? And I think unless you are familiar with the concept of deteriorating film and films being film stock being found in strange places and not being stored properly, and films that have been forgotten about, and then suddenly there's an interest on the internet, and then these films get brought back and re-edited, but only half the film's intact, so they have to take it from television prints and bits off trailers, and then the aspect ratio keeps changing, and these films that have been lovingly reconstructed the best they can be, but there's still a lot of errors in them. And I love all that. I love that charm. I love it seems to me that there's nothing stopping it. It's just literally, we want this film out there, we will put it out there in whatever form it will take. And that's what Maniac Project is supposed to look like some nasty old film made in the early 80s that was forgotten about, no one cared about it, and it's been put back together with so much love, but it's still got these errors and these quirky charms that give it its personality. And it's nevertheless frightening because you put it out there to an audience and they look at it and they say, well, that's just silly, and that's a shot that shot goes on maybe too long, or that shot's badly framed, but it's all just so much effort has gone into just constructing that level of incorrect filmmaking, and it's all on purpose. And what I tried to do was I tried to have one scene in it that I look at and say, well, that's a beautiful looking scene. No one can question that scene. And it's Jay walking out of the mist, and the sun's behind him, and he's on the fell top, and there's a light glaze of frost and snow, and he's walking through, and it's beautiful. I love it. I think it's the best thing I've ever shot as a cameraman. I was camera on that. And it was the best thing I've ever filmed, and I think that's always my argument. It's like, look, I'm not an idiot. I can do really nice things. It's a creative, stylistic choice. So we put it out there. We put it into the festival circuit. That was the only real plan, I think, was just let's put it out in the festival circuit and see what happens. And sadly, it was rejection after rejection after rejection, and that was all in this country. In the UK, we just kept getting rejected, and it just seemed absolutely futile. It was just abysmal, just getting those letters and opening them up, and it's like, oh look, we're not going down to that film festival here. So it seemed like a joke that only we understood, until we sent it to America, and it got an award. And it's like, oh right, okay, so yes, of course, the Americans get it. That's where we should have been sending it. We shouldn't have been wasting our time with this country. We should have been aiming it at the Americans. And why not, of course? It's a film that takes its cues from American-style filmmaking, and not just American-style filmmaking. These cheaply made Italian films that try to emulate American-style filmmaking, like the Bronx Warriors trilogy, or Ozploitation films, where you got things like Mad Max, and they're playing the Americans at their own game, but it's like a big celebration of what the Americans can do. So of course they seem to understand it, and then we won another award in America, and that was great as well. So that was clearly the place to be. And then we get a phone call, and it was a rep for a distribution company said, "See, you've won an award. Can we have a look at your film?" Sent the film over, and the guy just was so positive about it. He was fantastic. He just got it. I think he'd been showing it to other people as well, friends of his, and they got it, and they just understood. And it was nice that somewhere somebody understood what we were trying to do, and I wasn't some silly fucking bastard who made a stupid fucking film. And it was so nice that just to have that, and it was finally recognition. And then we started to do the rounds here. Darren and I actually took the film to places, showed it to a lot of students, and students got it as well. And it was nice to have recognition in this country. It suddenly had this thing where, we learned that if you get a good audience, then the laughter is infectious. And if one person laughs, that person next to them will laugh, and so on and so on. And it just found its audience.